drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, early in the morning.
Hello everybody, it's Captain Grizz again, and here today I'm doing a video first person on Uboat. The gameplay is a lot more difficult when you do the first person mode, and I'm just gonna show you the ins and outs. I'll kind of do a tutorial and I'll go through the boat and explain kind of what devices are and stuff, probably add little tidbits of history here and there, but I'm just going to give you a unique perspective on how to do this first person. It's definitely got a lot more immersion. It's also, this mode's a heck of a lot more difficult because if you get damaged trying to repair the ship and stuff can be kind of a pain, but hopefully I could show you ways to get around that. But anyway, I'm here at this officer. You have to walk everywhere in first person mode, talking to officers, things like that. I'm just starting so he happens to be standing here. So we'll go ahead and I got the volume kind of turned down so you could hear my voice. And let's see what orders we got here. I'm over in La Spezia on U559. Let's select this one, just for now, just for example. Okay, I don't need anything else. Talk to him. All right, we need to start supplying the boat before we go. So before you ever leave port in your first mission, go put on whatever you can. You got to load torpedoes, everything. Just pretty easy. So you meet this guy, Mr. Fisher here. Tell him, show me what you got. Okay. And I go right to torpedoes. As you can see, the T1s are free. Now, again, here's a bit of history. The T1s were steam, the T2s were electric. I think T3s were electric as well. And the T1s, the thing is, when they fired, they left a big wake. Okay, so you could see them coming. So if you shot these torpedoes during the day, a ship could see them coming at them and try and avoid them. And like, for example, in Greyhound. Okay, that movie, you see they were trying to shoot in daylight at a destroyer who could easily see the torpedoes and maneuver out of the way, which they did. Okay, so had they shot maybe T2 torpedoes with the electrics, they would have never saw them coming and they would have destroyed them. So there's a bit of an example of the torpedoes. Now, good, the T1s it'd be good to use them at night because it was a lot harder to see where it was coming from. So that was a good torpedo to use on night attacks, and T2s could be used during the day. You know, as you could say, they don't have a wake. And again, you have T3 torpedoes, which are electric, more advanced torpedo in the T2, and of course you had the T5s, which were acoustic homing torpedoes, which were really great at homing in on the ship engine noise and destroying ships. So right now, I need to get these torpedoes loaded. Deck gun. I don't use these shells. I think they're star shells. Just get rid of them. Okay, let's load up on armor-piercing shells. High explosive's good too, like if you're shooting a tanker or something to get it to set it off. I'm not going to worry about flak. You shouldn't be fighting aircraft very much. Aircraft are extremely dangerous to submarines, so don't do it. Unless, of course, it's an emergency and you have to deal with it. But no, I wouldn't deal with aircraft until you've upgraded the sub's tower at least to a 3 or a 4. Okay, you got items. I always bring lots of coffee because you may be trying to attack and people are tired. It makes them more efficient at seeing, at hearing. So I always use coffee. I always bring lots of coffee on board to try and keep people awake when I need them. The breathers. These things are an absolute must if you can get them. Very important pieces of equipment. Okay, all your mechanics should always have one of these. Always. Okay, because you could seal up rooms where you have a leak where it keeps the water from flooding through the rest of the sub, and the mechanics can get in there and fix that leak with these breathers. Okay, mechanics should always have these on. Okay, make sure the fuel is good. Okay, so we got breathers, we got coffee, fuel, ammunition. We've loaded up on some shells. We need to put these in the ventilation. Okay, food. Yep. You do not want to go out there and run out of food. Not good. So I'll store, let's go equipment, get extra spare parts. Again, mechanics can take this scrap right here, and every 2 scraps equals another part. So you got plenty of spare parts here. Top off the medic kits for wounded sailors. All right, so it looks like we got everything good for now. We're gonna have to do this again though, because the sub ain't gonna be fully loaded. So I just hold the Alt key and we skip a couple days while the sub gets resupplied. Oftentimes the captain leaves. This is one thing that's annoying, is the captain will leave that position. So you have to grab the captain and take him back into the shop. F hits your flashlight, which you will definitely need in the first person mode, because the sub can get extremely dark when the power gets knocked out. All right, so we're running back to talk to this Hans Fischer. Okay, show me what you got. All right, food, equipment, fuel, torpedoes. Oh, looks like the torpedoes are all been loaded up. We have extras. We actually have a couple T3s. Excellent. Okay, that's probably part of the mission requirement. Deck gun is full. I can add more deck gun rounds in here. I could also use the flak gun and stuff a few in there. There you go, an extra 30 shells stuffed where the flak gun is. You can add a couple more in here. Okay, money's getting kind of low. For good measure, let's throw in a whole bunch of cheese. Okay, they have different prices. If you're getting near broke, you can see potatoes are free. You know, things have different prices. Torpedoes, items. I got room for one more. Let's throw another breather in there. I give one to the captain. Okay, hold Alt. All right, you can upgrade your I'm sorry. You can upgrade your ship here as well if you have any of the upgrades researched at the base. This is who you talk to. So hold Alt. 3 days. Load up all the rest of the stuff here. All right. So the boat is pretty much loaded. I do have a free spot. I could put the stuff in the ventilator, but I'm just going around making sure everything's good. Last but not least, you start out with only 16 sailors. I try and go top that off with 2 additional sailors. Which you talk to this guy over here. I'll get out to sea and I'll show you how the attack and everything. Explain the boat. All right, so this man, you see I need 2. Let's just take, I just take either or, it doesn't matter. Exit, choose next crew for assignment. Okay, you can see we have 18 because we just picked up those 2 sailors, but you do have some extra ones here. The ones with the check marks are the ones that are on board. Okay, so we could have plugged in 2 more sailors, but I just bought them, which is fine. Okay, say goodbye. Crew is full. Run back to the sub. You can hold shift to run. Not very fast, but I could just go to the map, but I'm gonna run back on. I want to get back on the boat, and I want to show you the insides of the sub, what stuff is, give you some information. Okay, before we go down, here's your targeting site. You could use this to attack on the surface. So you can go manual mode. You can see that you can do your times here. It's got the course and all that stuff, so it could be used to make an attack on the surface. All right. You can hit N to get an external view of the boat. Okay, this is the only real outside camera you're going to get in the first person mode, so you can kind of zoom around. Another interesting note about the camera is if you place it while the sub is moving near the sub, it will stick there. So it has like a sticky camera feature. So you can get good screenshots and things like that. It's pretty neat. Okay. So you roll the mouse wheel back to get into this mode, leave position. All right. We're gonna open the hatch. If you leave this hatch open while it's raining, it will add water to your bilge. So you need to close it. All right, you're inside the conning tower. You can see, you could steer, that they have a guy here that could steer the boat, helmsman. Okay, and you got your, this is your attack periscope. All right, this is what you're using, and the difference between the two is the observation scope has a set level. It can see more, but the observation scope is very big, so the enemy ships can see it as well. So it's only used for like if you're, you know you're safe, or you need to spot targets that are on shore, like anti-aircraft batteries and stuff. The observation scope is a good bet for that. In attack scope, again, it's a much smaller kind of scope. It can be controlled up and down, make it more concealable, and it's mainly used for the attack. All right, this one, an interesting bit, this scope actually has a seat. Some of the older subs did not have a seat, so the captains would have to like squat down while trying to keep the scope low and stuff. It was not a good experience. Another thing is they dimmed all the lights in here, okay, because the light would reflect off the glass. So they used to turn all the lights off in here. Keep it real dark. Here is your TDC. Okay, this is what was used to do torpedo solutions. Okay, torpedo data computer. So the TDC, hey Audrey, hey. Yeah. So the TDC was used as a device to basically set up torpedo attacks, and if you're, again, this can be pretty complicated if you've never seen this thing before, but I will go over it in the game on how to use it, and we'll launch a torpedo pack using it. This thing is actually really nifty on attacking, because the method you could usually use is just the standard U-boat method, which is adding the course, direction, the distance, all that. But this actually kind of tracks information and follows a ship, which can allow you to attack multiple ships simultaneously fairly easily. Okay, let's go further into the sub, and I'll go to the bow. Okay, let's work my way back here. All right, the bow room. Okay, this is the forward part of the sub. As you can see, we got guys loading torpedoes right now. Crew is working on that. He's probably warming them. So these torpedoes needed to be warmed. I think it was, they had to warm the battery on them, and it could extend the life of the torpedo. Okay, it could extend its range. So it's not necessarily the steam torpedo. You can see he's got hooked up. It's the more the electric ones. All right, so these are your forward bow tube, and and the thing is, in the real subs, you had the crews in here sleeping, but also this room would be packed full of food. These floors would be covered with food. All right, because these subs, when they'd go out for months, they had food everywhere. Okay, so they would pack these rooms full of food, and as an interesting note, the weight and ballast on the sub was meticulously accounted for. If somebody grabbed, say, 100 pounds of potatoes out of the forward bow room and take it back to be cooked, they had to make a note of that. Okay, so they had to trim the tanks, trim the ballast for the sub, so it would stay level and even, and not, when they dived, it wouldn't be a big mess trying to overcompensate for some of the weight that had been shifted around in here. It was also the same with the torpedoes. As these torpedoes launched, look how heavy, you can imagine how heavy these things are. So they had to fill water in the tanks as these torpedoes left the tubes to keep their tower from breaching. Right, so you'd be walking on boxes of food here. Boxes. Okay, we're entering into the officer quarters. This is where the officers slept, bunked. Okay. Where's the captain's quarters? Yeah, I believe that's right here. That's the captain's quarters was meant to be here, as it was straight across from the listener and the operator. Okay, so you had your hydrophone. This is for use when you were underwater. Wow. This is for use when it was underwater, and this is for above the surface. Okay, the radio room. Okay, and in here was the Enigma machine. This is where they encoded and decoded messages, all right, that the U-boat would get for orders. And again, this is for locating. I use this to locate ships, but also, to locate the enemy destroyers depending on where they're at and everything. A pretty important device. All right. Here. Okay, main control room. All right. This is where you controlled the dive planes. You can see it was electrical. You have these switches here, which they would use to move the planes up and down. All right, you have your depth gauges. Okay, this one up to 25 meters, and you had the real deep one. Okay, the boat, I think, was rated for about 230 meters of depth, but as you can see, it can go much deeper than that, but things got pretty dangerous. Okay. Again, more control room, engine control panel. Okay, forward ballast cranks. All right, opening and closing the ballast side saddle tanks were used by this. Okay, aft ballast tanks, they'd crank on these to open, to bring water in the back. All right, you got your bilge here. Okay, the bilge was used to put, the sub was not watertight. So water, is depending on what depth they were or whatever, water would always be getting kind of slowly leaking into the boat. So now you turn the bilge on, and it'd drain all the water out. And of course, the water kind of would seep up and you could see the water inside here. And sailors often would pee in this or whatever, to relieve themselves if a bathroom wasn't available. As you can see, they got meat hanging up. You got meat hanging up in the top here. Okay, again, food would be everywhere, wherever you could store it, you had it. The snorkel, when you get it, is operated here. Okay, the snorkel was a very important feature added to the U-boats, kind of midway, midway later stages of the war. All right, navigation station. This is where the navigator would mostly be, plotting courses, doing things. All right, again, your observation scope is right here. All right, they'd hit a switch and then bring the observation scope up and get to see. All right, this is your ballast right here. This is where you would bring in the air if you wanted to surface. This is what they'd crank open. All right, you got air and you got trim tanks and things like that over here. Again, system lights indicating what's going on, how the system, status of the systems. This right here is an interesting device. Gosh, that name's escaping me right now. This is, I'm sorry, I'm not thinking of it right now, but echo sounder, there you go. So the echo sounder, what was cool about this was this pings your depth under keel. Okay, if you want to know how much room you got underneath the boat to dive, this is the device. Pushing me out of the way, I'm the captain. This is the device that you would use to find out how much you got. Now here's the thing, it had two ranges. It has a big range, large range, and it has the short. Do not use the large range around escorts. They will hear that, okay, and they will dial down on you and come after you. You could use the short one and get away with it. It's a lot harder to hear. So if you need a quick reference on how much room you got underneath your boat, use the shallow ping here, okay? And if there's no one around, you could use the big ping. But another interesting thing is, let's go to our map. You could see as you move. Let's get this boat underway. All right. Go slow. I always go slow. We'll probably still hit the pier, but yeah. So you could use the map and look around. It's not registering right now, but you could usually go around, and it could tell you. And you could see, oh, here it is, it's working now. So up here on your top right here, as you go around the water, it shows you how deep it is. Okay. All right, so you could see is just moving around the mouse cursor. I could see the depths of each area. This is 2,800 meters, 2,800 meters. Now what's critical about this is, say if the sub takes damage and your sub is going to sink, you are going to want to try and move this around and see if there's a shallower area that you can probably move the sub to before you go down. Okay, that way you can hit the bottom and have a chance to repair. So it's like an emergency situation, kind of like and it's also if you're going to attack a convoy, you could see its route and then pick an area that has fairly shallow or fairly deeper waters, however you see fit, to launch your attack. Okay, again, that you see that information here in the upper right. Okay, so that's your echo sounder. Okay, as we go further back, we have more. This is mainly crew quarters. You play cards here to help people's morale. Okay, there's two things to help boost morale. You could play cards. One of the officers can play cards, and you can turn the radio on. Okay, both those things, they do stack, and they can help with the morale, because morale breaks pretty fast, especially when you're attacking. Oh, and I forgot one other feature here. Let me go back before I forget. This is your gyro compass. This helps the navigator. Okay, you need to turn this off during an attack. All right, so when you're in an attack, you will turn this off. You could switch. Okay, he can't do it because he's not a mechanic, but you could switch to manual steering, which will make you more quiet. So if you want to run silent, you'll switch to manual steering. You will turn this off. Okay, again, the thing is, you want to turn this on when you're not fighting, is because this helps you keep your navigation set. Okay, see, it says gyro compass is operational on all compasses on board point north. This information decreases our chance of getting lost by 60%. Pretty important thing. Okay, it does consume power, so just watch it. All right, here, you got your light switch here. All right, so you got red light can help you when you're at night and you need to see a little bit further. The red light is what you want to have on. It helps you see a bit further. When you're launching an attack, blue light, okay? The blue light lets everyone know we are attacking. Stay quiet, don't make noise, just be quiet, okay? General quarters, basically. All right, normal light, daylight helps the crew's morale and stuff when it's normal daylight. Okay, playing cards and everything to help increase morale if you need to. All right, you are here. We can open the galley. All right, let's throw some bacon in there. So you got a little bit of room in here, so put some bacon in there, cook. All right, he's in here and cook. Okay, can take command of the cook. So we got plenty of food. You could mouse over this and you could see how much food you have. Okay, again, we're in first person here, so you had to go down here and do this manually. So food stored, we have 13 days. That's in the galley. And we have 39 days of storage reserves. So we can be out almost 40 days. All right. The cook will prepare dishes that increase morale by 8 a minute, but also overall consumption by 73%. Okay. Storage room. Yeah, I missed the storage locker up front. I should have showed that. Got the ventilator. Let's go ahead and just move that there. It's done. Okay, but you can see you get the medic kits. You need to know where the storage room is because this is where you're going to get your spare parts, your medic kits, you know, extra rounds to bring up to the deck gun, okay, which is full. All right, and while I'm showing that, you got the toilet here, again, not used, but again, this toilet here by the cook would be absolutely packed to the top of food, okay? When they were setting out to sea, this room would be absolutely packed. So they only had one toilet for what, 44 sailors? So this was not fun at the very beginning stages. The food was good, but the beginning stages, one bathroom, I can't imagine the conditions. Okay, the bathroom these guys would use, all the way back up front, okay, would be this one, okay? Again, the toilet system on a U-boat was a very complicated system, okay? It didn't have a storage tank for its, you know, for when you took a crap, basically. You had to flush it out the boat. Thing is, there were several valves and things up here that there was even a toilet specialist on the boat who had to know the right sequence of valves to do it. And he had to go in there and help anybody that had any problems, okay? And there was actually a U-boat captain that sunk his own U-boat because he flushed the toilet wrong and the water came pouring into the boat and they had to evacuate and the sub sank. That is a true story, okay? This locker right here is very important to know where it is because when you're in an attack or anything, this is holding your air devices, your coffee, okay? So while we're doing this, you hold tab. Let's get the mechanics. See one of them's making parts already? Okay, so let's go to him. Let's leave position. So before you even start moving underway, which I believe we're still under battery, let me check the map, see if we're underway here. We are. See how far we're out. Did we leave yet? We're still... Let's go ahead and switch to diesels. Okay, we're past that pier where you get crushed, okay? Engines are starting. All right, so let's go get him a mask. All right, there is a lot of setup before you really get out under sea that you want to take care of that's going to increase your chances of survival. You don't want to be running for these. Out of the way. You don't want to be running for these while you're sinking, okay? Exit. Okay. Put him back on engines. Okay, leave. Let's go to the next mechanic. Leave position. One making parts. Let's go get his device on. And I'm just doing this video just to explain things in the sub, but also just to show you things that I do to get ready to go out that's going to help me try and come back alive. All right. He's got his breathing device. Okay, hit tab. All right, let's go to the captain. Let's get his breathing device. Tab. Okay, I got one more. Mechanics have them. Let's give it to the second command here. He's resting. Okay. Tell the guy to go back to the engines here in a second after this guy goofs off. Okay, we have him a breathing device. All right. So let's tell him to get on navigation. Okay, let's tell this guy go back to making parts like he was doing. Okay, let's go back to the captain. All right, so we all got breathing devices. So when you're taking water where a room's completely flooded, we can repair the leaks and then hopefully pump it out. Another important item. This is extremely important. Okay, this is your power junction box for the forward part of the sub. This controls the power to the forward sections of the sub. It also controls the power to the control room and your bilge. Okay, so this guy right here, if you get hit and your power is knocked out, especially in your control room, which has the bilge, you need to send a mechanic on this like as soon as possible. Now you got to gauge the situation. Are these leaks minor? Can I contain them? Or are they major and I need everybody plugging a leak? Okay, we'll get out there and we'll do some damage control stuff and I'll show you things you could do, but you can put people on the hold leaks, which slow it down by like 90% and then have the mechanics repair them. But this right here, I'd say is one of the most important parts of the sub that need to get repaired if you get damaged. you hope that this does not get hit. Okay, there's a rear junction box as well. I'll show it to you as I go back. Okay, the rear junction box right here. All right, this controls power in the back of the sub, probably engines, batteries, things like that. Again, can be very critical depending on, but the thing is, I think the forward one's more critical because it controls the bilge, which is going to pump water out when you're flooding. Okay, there's that one. All right, storage locker, everything. Engine rooms. Okay, we got our diesels running, we're working. All right, here in the back we have our batteries. All right, so when you're underwater, this is what you use to move the boat. Again, of course, underwater you're going to be a lot slower. You're moving like 6-7 knots. So again, not much to it. It's just the batteries. They had to switch modes. The diesels recharge the batteries on the surface, and then when you dive, you'd have probably about 12 hours of battery depending on how you used it, and then you'd surface again and use the diesels to recharge them. Okay. Here's a workstation for the mechanic. He's making salvage parts, extra parts to replace, to weld and fix the sub when we're damaged. Diesel compressor. Whenever you surface, use compressed air to blow your tanks. You need to turn this on to refill your compressor or refill your air tanks so that you can surface again. If you don't turn this on after you've dived and surfaced a few times and you don't have air to surface, the boat will not come up. So you got to use these to help lift the boat when it's submerged. Okay. Now, this one operates on the surface. This one will draw air in the boat, if you remember, because it consumes air. So this one, but you have an electric one over here that you can use when you're underwater and stuff. Consumes electrical power, but it'll help you refill your tank so you can surface. In an emergency situation, when you were hit and you were going down and you're trying to keep the boat afloat, turn both of these things on. Both. It doesn't matter how much air you consume because you can offset the air by turning on the ventilator. Okay, so in a case you were hit and the boat's taking on water and you're trying to fix leaks and you want to try and stay up, okay, here's your ventilator. All right, turn this on. This helps refresh the air in the sub, but also it puts air and refreshes the air so the ventilator and these things back here could work more efficiently and won't starve the boat of air. Okay, so these things right here need to be both turned on. This will save you on countless occasions. This isn't, I don't have this upgrade yet, but this is your pill thrower. When you have decoys, you will run back to the back of the boat and you will shoot out the decoys here. Okay, and here's your rear torpedo tube. You only got 1-2 torpedoes in the back. That is it. Okay. So hopefully I've explained most of the boat, covered everything, what all things do, where things are. And now we will get underway and let's go see where, let's go find some ships. I'll show an attack. Okay. All right, guys, so we've reached our patrol area, got a checkpoint here. One thing I did forget to cover was leaving the port. Leaving the port is, all it is coming to the map, okay? And what's nice is it has an auto course, so you can see you hit the right mouse button, it gives you a course. It will actually steer you around safely wherever you need to go. Just go slow as you go out, okay? Make sure you clear because you can damage your boat. So again, to leave the port, you come to map, hit M, all right, come to map, and then just pick a course where you want to go. Hit the right, see here, it's curving around. Just pick a course and go, okay? And this is your in right here, just this button right here is your engine controls, okay? Here's diesel, here's electric. On the surface, you're on diesel, okay? Interesting note for a history is you never left your port on diesels. And the reasons why is Allied bombers and stuff, they would used to drop acoustic mines in the ports where the subs were. Okay, so what it was is if you left on diesel engine and you didn't know, the noise from the diesel could trip the mine and blow a hole in your boat. Okay, so you always kind of left these areas in electric. You don't need to in this game, they don't have that in there, but that was a reality for the submariners. That's what they had to face. Okay, so we're here, we're in the patrol area, and the thing is, you've reached it, you haven't run across anything, and you're like, okay, where are these ships? So what you could do is you could dive the boat. So we go up here, go to periscope depth. You see the man on the radio here, click on him, hold tab, scroll over him, you got the hydrophone symbol here, put him on it, okay? You can see the blue bar, he's fairly rested. So if you need to boost this up, you could use coffee, which will extend his range. Depending on how tired he is how efficient he's going to be at it. Stop the engines so he can hear better. He'll get a bigger ring to hear. Okay. Get in. See, it's nighttime. Get in the boat. Dive in the boat now. Seas are kind of rough today. Takes him a little bit. Let's see if we can get the boat. There it goes. All right. You can manually listen if you want to. I normally just let him do his job. But we're waiting. See, there's the ring. Now, if I turn engines on, say, for instance, I go engines, watch what happens. See his ring? Okay, it's making more noise. You can't hear as much. So stop the engines. Let's see if we go a little deeper, if it helps. So it expands the ring. All right, let's see if we can make it a little bit wider. So let's take the boat down to about 30 meters. Do we have the depth? It's about 2,800 meters. Yes, we do. So I click on here to go about 30 meters. Let's see if this helps him a little bit. Not really. Okay. Watch your oxygen supply. You can see now they're consuming it because we're underwater. And now the timer, you just sit. We could sit here and you can just fast forward the timer to see if we get any. You can see he's getting more tired, more tired, more tired. Some of these patrol areas, what I do is when you don't run into anything, okay, he's real tired, is like, for instance, I know this one's probably doesn't have a lot of ships around it. I'm surfacing the boat and you can see here, go ahead and let it go. All right, you see here, here's my oxygen being used to raise the boat. It's at 70%. Okay, you have like an action button over here on the far left, all right? You got gyro, compass, ventilator, pump, the electric compressor, diesel, we're surfaced. Have one of the sailors turn on the diesel compressor, and now you see it's being refilled. Okay, that was that one in the back of the boat. So what we're gonna do here is just race through here. And while we're doing this, I'll probably do an emergency, I'll create a leak on the boat and show you how it's handled. Okay. So we're underway. So what I'm going to do is see about creating a leak on the boat. So let's go to the captain. Hold tab. There you go. Let's do a leak. Oh, leak command. Oh, capital. Hold on. We got a leak on board. Okay, so you can see here, repair the hull. You'll see that they have repair icons, okay? So you're gonna have to go in first person, you're gonna have to come up here, go, and sometimes you'll have a whole list of repairs that are gonna come down. You gotta find these holes and get on these leaks. So, because they'll fix other things other than the leaks. Okay, now what we can do is leave position, have him run down. You could probably even take somebody, actually let's take somebody who's down in the engine room. Okay, leave position, get out of bed. We have an emergency. The leak is to my left because you can see it right here on the icon. Get up. All right. Out of the way, out of the way, out of the way. Get out of the way. Okay. You can see a guy's already repairing it right here. See, he can hold. See, he can hold the leak. Boom. Look, so I've slowed the leak down while he's repairing it. Okay. You can leave position. See, now let water's coming back in. Let's hold it again. Boom. Water's pouring in. Gonna hold it. Okay, so he's holding the leak back while the guy repairs it. There it is, it's repaired. You can see he's kind of welded a plate or something in that position. Well, you see here's the water. All right, we gotta get the water out of the boat. Okay. You could go here and have someone turn this on, but I'm right here, so I'm going to turn it on. Okay. Bilge tells me I got 11 meters in the boat. I'm on the surface. I'm going to have all that pumped out real quick. I don't have to use buckets to move it. So that's an indication. That's kind of how you got to handle damage control in the first person mode. Okay. So you get damage, you hit tab, see where the repair is item on here, and have these guys select the repairs accordingly. Okay. And if you want to emergency shut a compartment, for instance, that one was flooding, come up here, right click the door. As you can see here, evacuate the compartment, okay? You have the option right here to say evacuate the compartment. Now what this does is it gets everybody out. See, everybody's coming out. All right, and what it does is this makes it where only the mechanics can open and close it. So you know the frustrating thing is you go in there and you're trying to repair a leak in here and they leave the door wide open. If you do this command, it will make it where the mechanics who got the breathers go into these flooded rooms and work the repairs. They shut the door behind them so you don't have water flooding throughout the boat, okay? Cancel evacuation, got it back open, okay? So you got to go down. You can go down and hit right click and tell people to evacuate the boats, okay? Boom. Get out of that compartment. You don't have the side scroll on the boat in first person mode, so that's kind of how you got to do it. And oftentimes it's your ability to jump to different people. And again, you can hit spacebar, right? One thing I always talk about with damage control is if you get a hit and before you do anything else, spacebar, slow time. It's not exactly pause, but it slows time a lot. Hit tab. Take a look at your repairs, okay? See where you need to be. This gives you time, and it's not an emergency. Just take your time, look where the repairs are, and send the right people accordingly, okay? So this is how you're gonna have to pause it in first person mode. So hit spacebar, see where the repairs are, send them accordingly. You can go around and see, okay, where's the leak? You can kind of put on it and see what it is, where it is, and then you can run back there, evacuate that compartment. Okay, and then oftentimes you could jump to different people depending on where they are to evacuate the compartments. Okay, let's go to the engine man. Okay, let's pause it. Let's do him. Leave position. Evacuate. See? So anybody, you can pick different crewmen to do this. All right. So that's a bit how you got to do the damage control in U-Boat in the first person mode. It's a lot more difficult, but again, it's the same kind of principle. You pause, assess the damage. Where's the damage at? How critical? Where's it at? Breathers on. Do I need to evacuate compartments? Where's the closest guy to that compartment, etc. That's it. So that's damage control. So we took care of the leak, pumped it out, we're all good. Okay, so we go back to our map. Let's floor through this. I'm just going to go as fast as speed because I'm just doing this video for examples. All right, the captain here, if you want to make somebody more efficient, like for instance, he's on binoculars, he's got a full crew with him. You can add crew and increase crew. This will make it where they can expand their sight range, or like the guy with the hydrophone, the radio, he can't use anybody on the radio, but he could use somebody on the hydrophone. You can increase crew to make your ship more efficient. Like for instance, he doesn't have any help. We'll put more people on the nav station and we'll go ahead and do that. And basically this will increase, the nav station will help him conserve fuel. As you can see, additional sailors, minus 30%, navigation, minus 20. I got a minus 50%, but since I'm using the engine's full blast, I'm burning a lot of gas, okay? If I take it down to standard, okay, you can see my fuel efficiency is increased. All right, morale's doing good. I got too much work from officers. I have them assigned to a bunch of officers, but they got varied dishes. Okay, you mix up the stuff in the galley, at least 3 foods, and they have normal lighting. I have daylight on, so the morale's not affected right now. I'm on the surface. This is your battery power when you're underwater. Okay, you can see the gyro compass is consuming power. All right, reputation for when you want headquarters to do you favors. How many sailors are on duty? You got your budget. I see I'm pretty low right now. I need to sink some ships. Okay, those are just some of these features that appear on the top bar right here. You can also manage your crew. You got schedules. You could put people on their own certain schedules. I don't mess with it too much. Maybe when I get out there and I'm playing the game seriously, you could put people in like 8-hour shifts. I think they normally did 12-hour shifts. You could put the priority in which they do things. Okay, change these up. Squad, you could assign sailors to certain officers for stuff. Okay, so it's got its own crew management section. All right. What's that? Rudder. The rudder's turning. Okay, so let's press on. Let's try and wrap up this patrol area here. You can see the patrol bar is going up as I'm moving in the patrol area. I just want to get this done because there's like usually no boats in some of these areas. Like what's frustrating is you'll go to an area, you'll go around, you won't find anything, and then you're like, well, how am I supposed to do this mission? I'll show you. There's areas like over here that have boats. Don't want to run into land. You got areas over here that have boats. So we're almost done here. Let me start making my way over this way. Control area is almost complete. Okay, send a radio message. So if he's on the radio, got a little bit of money. So we're gonna go over here near Gibraltar, and we're gonna go find boats coming in and out. Okay, so it's a choke point. So we have a shipping lane that's coming through here. I am almost positive we're gonna find something here. Okay, some of this is knowing where you could usually find ships. Yeah, out here where these ports, like in here, you could find ships over, I think some ships over in Malta, and you got some that are over in Port Alexander. You'll find ships coming in and out of here where the ports are. So I kind of generally go where there's ports and stuff, because I'll always find ships. A lot of ships come through here. In this area here, there are a ton of ships. You go in this area, you will find tons. Some ships through here, not too much North Sea, maybe some. You got some in the backside here. All right. So those are areas that to go check if you want to go see, find ships if you're having a hard time with it. Okay, now I'm going to show the attack stage, how you line up an attack. All right, we have a plane. We are not fighting it. Crash dive immediately. Crash diving, the middle of the day. Let's make sure. Position, Alt, let's make sure we're at full speed. Okay. We have a plane closing in on us. Really, really bad for a plane to sight you and see you, because now it can alarm all the ships and everybody around that you're here. It can make finding ships a little more difficult. There we go, we're going down. I don't see the plane. There it is. It's gonna fly right over us probably and drop some depth charges. Depth's pretty deep, so we're gonna go ahead and just go to 60 meters. He's probably gonna be hovering around for a while. Well, take this opportunity to get him on the hydrobone and see if you can find something. Slow the engines down, very slow. Okay. We may find something, we may not. Let's go to, you know what, let's give him some coffee. Double click him, hit on manual mode. Okay, mouse wheel back, leave position. Go to the, here, right click, cancel. So I had him take 2 coffees, which now he sees his health bar down there is almost blue. Let's get on the listening device. Okay. We come to an all stop. That plane's around, so it's going to slow our time down some. He's probably looking for us. Come on. Start going. Morales, you can see morales dropping. Go to periscope depth. Morale's coming up. See, we're not as deep. People get really concerned when you get deep. They start losing morale like crazy. You have to go down there and strangle like half your sailors. All right, the plane's gone. I can usually tell by the time compression. Oh, there it is. Well, let's see the periscope. He's searching the area. Okay, oxygen's doing good, battery's good. We're just gonna stay down for now. Okay, battery's getting low, it's nighttime, it's time to surface. Again, this was very dangerous for submarines later on in the war, as aircraft had radar. So they could see these subs at night when they had to recharge. So it really hurt the U-boats a lot. All right, batteries are recharged. Still nighttime. Let's get in here into the shipping lane here. Let's see what we find. I want to floor it. I just want to go as fast as possible. Help the engine man. He's asleep. There we go. He's awake. All right. The radio man is very tired. Okay, we're going to stop here. Aircraft spotted. Report that. Periscope depth. What's interesting note is there was a guy who's the tonnage king, Otto Kretschmer, and he never radioed in. They used to call him Silent Otto. because he never radioed in for good reason, is because he did not want to get picked up by anybody. Very smart man. Depth here, you can see it changes. About 800-900 meters. We're good here, we're pretty deep. Okay, he sees on the radio, I'm not gonna hear anything there. Let's go ahead and take him again. Let's get some coffee, so we increase our range. Watch out. All right, 2 more. All right, he's almost full. I bet we find something. Okay. You zoom down, you can see the ring going out. Oh, look at that. Got some ships coming in. Once you have them located, take it easy depending on how fast they are. But we get ready to do the attack now. So again, you can't exactly dial them in. So what I do is you get close and stop the sub, because this will help you determine where they are. Okay? Next, because you'll see that the targets may jump around as he's able to dial them in better. Trying this attack if you've got Darker Nights enabled. We're at about 91% difficulty right here, so trying to do attacks with Darker Nights enabled is extremely hard. I can hit ships, but it seems just frustrating. Okay, we got a course, we got ships here. Show you the beauty of the torpedo data computer. Okay, again, interesting note, the torpedo data computer is not exactly set up straight in this. It's a mod, but just all you got to do to overcompensate for it is whatever the ship speed is, add a knot. Okay, and you'll hit that ship pretty much dead center. Okay, so we can see they're about 3,000 to 4,000 meters away. What you could do if you want to help yourself, there's a little pointer over here on the left side. Okay. Hold on just a second. You could click the pointer here. You could zoom in on the front of the ship. Okay, do a point. Okay, let's let a little bit of time go by. Okay, let's do another pointer. Front of the ship. Do time and stuff with this too, but I'm just trying to show you the most simplistic method of attack here. Okay, he's like, that's their idea course. Maybe he's more in straight. Let's see. Nope, he's following this path. Okay, so you can mark a range. We're already 1,700 meters away, so let's flip the boat around. You don't have to go fast or anything. What are we on the surface? Make sure we're periscope depth. Okay, so let's flip the boat around, aim it there. We're about 1,700 meters away, which is pretty optimum. Okay, let's go ahead, go slow. He is. All right, boats are still coming. You know what? Let's go ahead and close that range to, make it a little bit closer so we get a better shot. Don't want to get discovered. Okay, we're in good range there. So we'll stop the boat. You are in attack position. Let's tell the captain to get on the attack scope. Okay, so he's moving to the attack scope. Again, it's always the tab key. It's going to be your best friend in all this. Again, hit tab. Turn the lights to blue lighting. That means we're getting ready to attack. This is a good time to tell the guy sleeping in his bunk, you better have those torpedoes warmed or you're going to choke him. Oftentimes, he warms torpedoes all the time, but the time you need him, he never does it. Okay, let's get him some crew. He doesn't need it. You don't need engines right now. You can have the other guy warming torpedo number 2. Okay? So they're in there warming the torpedoes up. All right, let's start getting our information. You can see my TDC is right here. All right, this is again a mod you get off Steam. Okay, they're to my left. There's the boats. Okay. Okay, for the attack, there's a few things you're gonna have to go through to make it successful. Let's put my eye on the scope here. There's an icon right here. Click the big one there, boom, eye up on the scope. Identify this ship. That looks like an Explorer, okay? You're gonna fire multiple torpedoes at it. You need to take into account the length of the ship, okay? You can also see that its draft is about 8 meters. I put it at about 3 on the depth, okay, for good hits. You don't want your torpedoes to go underneath the boat. It's a max speed of 10 knots, okay? So we recognize it, okay? If you want to add the length of the ship, this is a good time to do it. It's 123.5. Go ahead and turn this to 1023, okay? You got 100, 10, 20, It's about in this range, okay? Set. If I want to fire multiple torpedoes for this, I'll go ahead and do it. So, go ahead. This is your range key. Okay, the idea is to get the bottom of the ship, put it all the way at the top of the boat, the tops of those masts right there, okay? This is going to get your range. You're going to set it. 268. It should set in here, in which it did. Okay, it's set in the TDC. You got to time the boat. Go to the front of the ship. You usually want it as flat as possible. Time the speed, okay? As soon as this vertical line crosses the very back of the ship, you stop the watch, okay? This is going to determine speed. Maintain periscope depth. If you have rough seas or you're having a hard time, you can put an engineer on the depth steers with the crew to help keep the boat steady for you. I'm not really having a difficult time right now, so it's not necessary. And stop. Set. 7 knots. Now with the TDC, you want to add that extra knot because, okay, one more, 5, 6, 7, 8, because that's what's going to add that extra knot for you. Let's slow this down. Explain the TDC. Okay, the only things you got to be really concerned with is this, which is the speed. Okay, so I'm follow. You got this is your forward and aft tubes. Forward tubes, aft tube. Okay. Again, here's the range, which will set when you set it down here. It should set and match. Okay, here's your angle on bow item. And what's nice about this is once you get the angle on bow, you flip this switch, and this will follow the target and keep your angle of bow. Okay. So we got the speed now, all right? We've added the extra knot. Let's go ahead, flood tubes 1 and 2. Okay, preparing to fire them. Let's go ahead and put the depth down to about 3. This is important right here, guys. This one right here, hit the switch over to green. That means you're using the TDC, okay? This is normal fire mode with this stuff. This is the TDC, okay? Tubes are flooded, you could exit out of this. Okay, we can unspace it. All right. He's moving right along. Okay, now let's get the angle on bow. You can do that right now. Okay, angle on bow is done. This is probably the hardest part of doing these attacks, but in U-Boat, it's made pretty easy. You're gonna take your protractor, click it, bring it to the front of the ship, front of the bow, any space. It doesn't matter where you put this out here. Put it up front, click it to this, and then put it where your boat is. You see I got 41, go here, manual mode. We're gonna go to the TDC. They're heading right, depending on which way the ship is traveling. 41, follow. Okay, this is set. Okay, if the boat is traveling to your right, it is green. It is traveling to your left, it is red. Okay, extremely important when you're gonna shoot torpedoes. Okay, now the attack has been set up. All I gotta do now is when he gets up here, close to the gyro range for the torpedoes, which you can see, I'll show you here what I'm talking about. The gyro angle, these torpedoes used to fire. Okay, you can see that it's the gyro angle is over on the more on the far left. Optimum's about here, 0 to about 10, 5, somewhere in here. Okay, the torpedoes left the tube, they went out about 20 meters, and then they started taking their course. Okay, this is all time that's added into the attack, which can give it enough air to miss its target. So you kind of wait till it's in the optimum range, right about in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and just fast forward this. And he's almost there. All right, getting ready to attack. All right, let's range him one more time. The ruler here. Zoom in, make sure. Okay, the seas are getting a little rougher here. Okay, he's set. He's about 1561. Okay, let's go ahead and launch. Okay, so we just did range. You can see the gyro angle here now is right in the area. Perfect. Torpedoes have very minimum correction to turn and hit their target. Torpedoes are underway. We've added that extra knot. Okay, two torpedo spread. Ooh, the first one might miss. First one might miss. Boom, right at the nose. Second torpedo. Boom. Okay. So anyway, that is basically a general idea of U-Boat doing it through first person. Okay. So it's doing, hopefully I've explained some of the stuff about the commands and how it operates and stuff. It is really fun playing it at this level. It's very hard, but again, I hope to allow people more to be able to use it, understand some of the concepts, anything. If you have any questions about anything I did here and everything, please send me comments or anything, and I will definitely answer them. So, you know, I love this game. I love the history behind this, and I'm a history buff with World War II, World War I. So, you know, this stuff interests me a great deal. And I spent some time growing up in Germany, so I got to learn quite a bit about this stuff. So anyway, again, if you like my content and enjoy what's going on, just hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll continue to put more U-boat stuff out there. Thank you very much.